like to call to order the October 14th, 2019 edition of the Chaska Planning Commission.
August 14th.
Oh, sorry.
Time.
Little off tonight here. Yes, the August 14th, 2019 Chaska Planning Commission meeting. Liz, would you please do the roll?
Yes. Bovee?
Here.
Cross?
Here.
Dalkey?
Here.
Pfeiffer?
Here.
Urbanski?
Here.
Seiler?
Here.
Lacey?
Here.
Olson?
Here.
And Brass.
Here.
All right, thank you. I think we're back on track. Next on the agenda is to adopt the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pfeiffer and Cross. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next in the, on the agenda is a visitor presentation. Is there anybody that wants to speak about anything that's not on the agenda tonight? Okay, everybody's here for the action item, I assume. So next on the agenda will be to approve the previous Planning Commission meeting from June 12th of 2019. Has everyone had a chance to review? If so, we'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Commissioner
To approve.
Lewis, or Lacey, I mean,
I'll second.
and second by Seiler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, nothing on the consent agenda, so we'll move to action item 7A, recommend approval of the final site and building plan for American Flexible Products at 124 Peavey. Liz, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So tonight we have a request before us for American Flexible Products, who are located at 124 Peavey Circle here in the city of Chaska. Their request tonight is for a final site and building plan to construct an addition on their property. So the site is located within kind of the northern industrial park of the city of Chaska. So it's basically located as you're going northbound on Highway 41. You get off on Peavey Road to the east there and go south down Peavey Circle to access the site. It's bound on the south by the Twin Cities and Western Railroad, as well as the Hazelton Golf Course, and then the other property is kind of encompassing the area is also a part of that northern industrial park. So this property did get their original approvals back in 1998, specifically on August 17th of 1998 is when they came through for their entitlements. And at that time, when they got their approvals, it did show a 32,000 square foot building with a possible expansion area of 18,000 square feet. Which would total the building out at 50,000 square feet in size. During those approvals, it was noted in the approving resolution that the building addition would have to come in for a separate final site and building plan in order to be constructed. So that is why they are here before you tonight, is to move forward with that building addition that was previously contemplated. So again, they're asking for a final site and building plan approval for a building addition on that western side of the building. The building addition totals out at 25,000 square feet and 26 feet in height. When you add that onto the existing square footage of the building, which is at about 30,000 square feet, the total square footage of the building will be 55,000 square feet with the building addition added. So that's about 5,000 more than kind of what was originally anticipated, but they've been able to fit it into the site while meeting parking and setbacks and so forth. They're also proposing a parking lot expansion to their existing parking lot, so they're going to be adding 20 more stalls onto the site to their existing parking lot. The rest they are showing as proof of parking, which I'll show in an exhibit later to show how they're meeting our parking code. In addition to that, they are also adding 2 additional loading dock doors on the south side of the building, facing basically the railroad area, and that will be attached to kind of the warehouse function that's being added on with this building addition. So the use out there is consistent with the zoning district that they're in. They are in an industrial zoning district, so their current use and the proposed building addition is still consistent with that. So this is the proposed site plan on this exhibit here. The total acreage of the site right now is 3.75 acres. The building addition, like I've noted before, is 25,000 square feet, and is going to be oriented more on the western side of the existing building, which is shown kind of in that fainter gray outline here. The building addition and added parking lot are shown more in kind of the bold outlines of this drawing. So again, this portion here will encompass more warehousing, so a majority of the addition will be additional warehousing for the business. They're also adding a break room and a couple bathrooms as well with the addition. And then the 20 parking stalls are basically being added to the existing parking lot here on the north side. That will just be an extension of that parking lot that wraps around the building, which again is very consistent with kind of what they've contemplated in their 1998 approvals. So in terms of the parking count that they're providing out here, they may be under the requirement in terms of the amount that they're constructing. However, we've always told applicants and developers to only construct what they need for their building, to not over-construct parking unless they absolutely need it. So in the event of not showing all the parking constructed on site, we just ask that they show it as proof of parking on the remainder of the site to show where it could be incorporated in the event that they do need it. So the site itself, with the building addition and the existing building, they are actually showing parking over the requirement for this type of use and type of site. So, and then the 2 loading docks are proposed on the south side. So one's kind of kitty corner between the building addition and existing building, and then the other one's fully on the south side. So they do have a shared truck turnaround area that they share with the adjacent property to the east. So these are able to access both these loading docks in the rear there quite conveniently. And here's the landscape plan if we need a reference back to it. They are meeting code in terms of the caliber inches required and kind of what was previously anticipated for this overall site in the landscape plan. So we don't have any concerns or questions about what they're proposing there. And then these are the proposed building addition elevations on this exhibit. So they will be using the exact same material and vendor that they used on the existing building, which in the event that any building does a building addition, we want them to match what's existing out there. One item of note is they are adding clerestory windows at the top of this building addition, both on the north and west sides, which face Highway 41. So that's definitely an added plus to this area, especially which faces kind of a high volume traffic road. And then just one item of note that they'll have to work on as they prepare for a building permit submittal is that all the mechanical equipment that's on the top of this building addition, if there are any proposed rooftop units, they will have to be screened in some manner. So in conclusion, based on kind of the previous approvals and what they're proposing now, it is consistent with what was originally approved and anticipated. They're going through the necessary steps to get this building addition approved based on those original approvals. And with that, we are asking you to make a motion tonight to recommend approval of the final site and building plan for American Flexible Products at 124 Peavey Circle, based on the conditions that are listed within your staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, the applicants are here in the audience as well if you have specific questions for them.
All right. Thanks, Liz. Anybody have any questions for Liz?
Well, my only thing, and this isn't just about, this particular case, but is, it's our own process for approval of some of these things, where they come to us as this has been approved, and now we're going to the final approval, when truly all we've seen is a shape. And if you look at the request for approval that the city wrote back in 1998, so it's August of 98, it says, site plans show how the building could expand another 18,000 square feet to the west. However, city approval of this site/building plan does not include the addition. Any addition over 9,600 square feet would need to go through the application process again and receive commission and council approval. Now, so it's basically saying if they want to do this, and I'm not against them doing it at all, but if they want to do that, we need to go through the process. And our process isn't to come to the planning commission and the city council for the first time in 21 years, it's not the same people, with a final plan that's a take it or leave it. We have this process of a concept, a preliminary plan, and then a final plan, so that we can really look at it and say, hey, have you thought about moving this or moving that? Now, again, this is not about this particular case. It's the second time I've heard that something's been approved. And, even when you look back on the approval, it doesn't say this building is approved. It just says, in the list of whereas this, whereas that, all it says is whereas the space could accommodate an 18,000 square foot building, whereas da-da-da. That's the only mention of the building. So, because of course they couldn't approve the building because they didn't know what the building was going to be. So there wasn't even a concept at that time, it was just a square. So I just would urge that, I don't want to set precedents that when people want to do something, especially if it's really different than what was on the square. I mean, it's 7,500 square feet more. It's got loading docks that weren't there, parking, whatever. That we go through the full process. I kind of feel like, and this same exact thing happened with that situation with the company that wanted to butt up to the homes of residents. When I look back on those meeting minutes, that was never approved. That building was not approved. It was not in the square footage of what was approved, but they kept telling us, it's approved, now we're just doing the final approval, and there it is in front of us, and we have to take it or leave it. So, I think we just need to be really careful about our process. And again, this is a great part of our community, and I'm not at all opposed to an addition. I just want to make sure that we are following our procedures for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'm hearing from you is there's a question on the process. And, if this is, a shared concern by other people, I would say that we should definitely discuss it in more detail.
Yeah.
Outside.
Not here.
Right,
But
exactly.
yeah,
But
I mean,
in a
when
work
something
session
says that
setting
it's not
or-
approved, this part is not approved, it means it's not approved. So we need to see a concept, and then we need to see a preliminary plan and talk it through, and then go to the final plan. But again, I don't want to trouble everybody with this process situation, and I don't really see any big, huge hangups with this. It is a little different as well from the original layout, but it's the second time it's come up. And
I can agree with what she's saying. I think going forward, I wouldn't apply it to this case because clearly they're already here, but going forward, if it has to come back through, unless a preliminary concept and preliminary plat were approved years past, because those approvals carry, and they should. But if they weren't, then I would agree that I would like to see it go through the full process. So maybe going forward, something that we discuss.
Yeah.
I think this is probably like a good workshop You know, and when we have the city, you know, I don't know if it'd be Kevin and Liz or more, you know, the procedural type
Yeah,
brain power in the room to make sure that we're,
especially if it's different than what was, like, if there's 7,000 more feet, the shape is different, like, just, you know, time goes by, the site could be different.
Well, and what's there could be a different kind of business, and what they want, what the use is, all that kind of stuff when it comes to as a final plan. Because what can happen is, you know, well, they either have to yay it or nay it, and they're not gonna nay it for something small that I want that maybe they're not
Right.
gonna want. So we don't even get to have that discussion.
Yep, I
It's like
agree.
they come in in a position of power to pretty much do whatever they
Or like
want.
the
if
previous
they know
case
we
where
really
things
want to keep
change,
their
houses are
business.
there now, like, you know, or may or may not have been there, and so now you've got residents, and it's like you're not in a position to like fairly judge it. No, I understand.
I think this is definitely a worthwhile topic.
Going forward.
Yeah, not here tonight, like Commissioner Pfeiffer said, but I think we'll talk about this after or down the road and
Right.
get a workshop.
Yeah,
or
I'm hearing some valid
talk with Kevin and
points.
see what he
Yep.
thinks the next rule is.
And I think it's only appropriate to continue it as a discussion, as a separate item.
Yeah.
In a different setting, like a work session
Sure.
or another planning commission meeting that we set up for you guys. So,
I do have a
we'll
question
we'll
about the plan, though.
definitely, you know, hear your comments as a part of that and hopefully put something together that we can have a good, hearty discussion related to that concern. So,
Okay, very good. Go ahead, Commissioner Barras, you have a
Is-
question?
Yeah, so is that a new loading area, like an enclosed type dock? Is it flush with the building, or is that like a pull-in kind of scenario?
this
It's hard
part
to
right
tell.
here, so they
Yeah.
are just defining kind of the pavement around the loading dock there.
Got it, so it's an
not
exterior dock?
enclosed. Right,
Kind of, okay.
right.
And is
So
there a driver around the building, like a fire lane, or is that?
that
I would
has been
assume
looked at.
It's
and-
adequate?
Yep, and our fire department concluded that they did not need a full turnaround.
Turn around,
building.
okay.
Whatever's out there right now is adequate
Fine.
for their vehicles to
Okay.
utilize, so. Yep.
The added height, is that, I just wonder, from 41, I just went out there and saw kind of where it's going to extend, and, I mean, you're certainly going to see it. Is there going to be additional tree coverage, and is there going to, I mean, have they,
Well, they are adding some of the plantings on the edge over here.
on
'cause
that
it
side
bas-
of, on 41?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I mean, most of the plantings are gonna be oriented towards the Highway 41 size, or side. You know, when they first get planted, you're obviously not gonna see them as prevalent, initially, but as they grow, they're gonna provide that, additional, vegetative screen, throughout time.
Because I'm trying to sort of get a sense for what it looks like, just because like the trees that are there right now don't really do a lot to shield
And it's not
it
gonna
from
cover the entire building. It's
Yeah,
not
I
gonna cover
know.
the entire height, and it
Road's
doesn't do
quite a
that
bit
right
higher
now.
there, right there than the building.
So I think for us, you know, they did do some due diligence of trying to add some windows to those facades that are gonna be facing Highway 41.
Yeah.
To help break up the massing a little bit better. But I think for us, one of the main things with that view is to make sure those mechanical units are gonna be screened from view, given kind of the grade differences. Because there's definitely a depression in the site compared to the highway. So we want to make sure what we can do, even with that grade difference, that we try to screen.
I got a question about the highway as well. You know, it's summer now, so you can't get around anywhere without road construction and expanding roads. Has the state had any inkling on what they're going to do with Highway 41 there? You know, because just about a mile south, we just expanded it over the whole last summer to make it 4 lanes.
Right.
Now granted, there's a bridge going over the railroad tracks, which might be one of the first things, but, you know, where the easements work with 41 and any future plans, I mean, they might take down all those trees that they're putting up on the buffer right now, if that's part of the future plan or not.
We don't have anything from the state that indicates that they're going to be widening that road from that stretch
Okay.
of things. So they did do the portion of between Hunter Mark Road and Pioneer Trail, but have not indicated anything to us in the near future that they're planning to expand in this area. So kind of what they're proposing out there now we can't really say that it's gonna be in troublesome area at this time, so.
They are planning a roundabout further up
Yep.
at
Lyman,
Lyman.
yes.
And they're thinking maybe they will have a roundabout on 82nd possibly. The whole area next to the Arboretum, all sides of it are under a traffic study
Yep.
right now.
Correct.
And there's counters out on the road and all sorts of things. And I wouldn't hold my breath on 41 being expanded soon.
I mean, there's always potential for that. And if we knew that there's gonna be an expansion, we would take that into account a little bit more serious. But since we don't have anything tangible at this point, what they're proposing out there kind of meets the site requirements, so.
Anyone else?
Do we
All
wanna
right,
invite the applicants up here just to say a hello and a few words maybe?
Yeah, we'd be, love to get your name and address on them, in the minutes, and.
Sure. Good evening. Jeremy Thomas, RJ Ryan Construction will be the general contractor for the project, and we also worked in coordination with Carla, the owner, to put the plans together. If you have any questions, we would welcome those, and appreciate you taking the time to listen to our plan, and we're excited to bring job growth and additional tax base to the city. Thank you.
All right, let's bring it back to the council. Do we have any, or commission, I mean, any additional comments, or before we make a motion? All I want to say is, I drive by, or I drive in the park there every day, and I think that American Flexible Products does a very good job of keeping their, I guess, their public view, that you can see from 41. I always think it looks well-kept, and the building is in good shape, and I expect the addition will only complement what they're already doing.
The only minor concern of mine was that the grading that they're going to have to do next to the railroad track, it's already a embankment, and but they are planning to plant trees on the area that they're grading, so hopefully that will hold things. But that's my minor concern, because the embankment has plenty of trees to keep things tidy.
All right, if no one else has a comment, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I was on the commission in 98 when this came through the first time.
Well, I guess it's not all new people.
So I'll make a recommendation to approve the final plan and building plans of American Flexible Products at 124 Peavey Circle.
I'll second that motion.
And just so that it's said, and I assume it's, we're also including the 12 conditions.
Yes, oh yes, the conditions. I do include the conditions, including the one about it having sprinkled.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, a motion is approved. Congratulations and good luck with the building process, and we'll look forward to the final product.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Okay, that being our only action item for tonight, the only other thing we have to do is read into the minutes is receiving the meeting minutes from the May 20th, June 3rd, June 17th, July 1st, and July 15th city council meetings, the draft of the July 1st EDA meeting, and receive in the June 10th and July 8th park board minutes. So that being read into the minutes, I'll bring it back for a quick roundtable. Anybody? Commissioner Pfeiffer, go ahead. We'll start on your end tonight.
I was excited to see the Star Tribune article yesterday. Did you all see that about Carver County? And apparently we're an awesome county, so that was good to read.
I agree with him.
River City Days was great and fun, and like it was fun by all as well.
I
too.
agree with that as well.
Good.
We also enjoyed River City Days. We had Fisherman Friends had a booth there, and so the city is really exciting and a bright spot in the Southwest Metro. Really proud of it.
Excellent. Commissioner Brass?
What, the road, Pioneer Trail outside Jonathan Elementary, there's been some construction there, and I think they're just finishing up, kind of like between 41 and First Roundabout, kind of right outside Jonathan Elementary there.
Pioneer Ridge Middle School?
Pioneer
or-
Trail, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you talking
by
about I think they're widening the road. I
Yeah,
think they're
are they
putting,
widening it, making a turn lane there?
yeah,
or
I think for the new,
Is that what's going on?
yeah, for the new construction there, I think they're getting the turn lanes. If I
Quite tall.
remember right, I think that's what has
Is
to
that what it
happen there.
was?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly what they're working on out there.
Does the
I'm
city,
not
does the
always-
city do that, or is that a county?
No, Pioneer Trail is a county road.
Right.
So it would be county crews that would be
Yeah.
doing the work out there. Yep.
Got it.
But yeah, I
It'll
don't
be
have
good
a
when
lot of
that's done. It's a
specifics.
Well, I think they're just
Little
finishing
tricky
up
getting through there
tonight.
sometimes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Commissioner?
Yeah, no, I just noticed a lot of the folks on top of the hill on Big Woods Boulevard won't have water on Saturday, and I'll be one of them, along with many other homes. So just looking forward to getting out and about and getting out of my neighborhood so there's access to water during the day.
Water's a good thing.
Yep.
Commissioner Cross?
Only a minor thing. Property that used to belong to the university on 82nd Street will become a tax income property at the end of the month. And right now, they're projecting just a single-family home.
Yep.
And does a single-family home come to us at all?
No, it does not. It's in a rural residential zoning district right now, so
Yes.
they're not planning to split it or anything like that. That would trigger a planning process, so.
I didn't think so. I am concerned about their east neighbor. Their east neighbor will probably complain about it very much, so they've enjoyed having
Openness,
that open
Yeah,
space next to them.
it's always a change,
That's all.
yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bansky, anything?
One thing, so the Minneapolis Association of Realtors, I don't have the date with me right now, I think it's the end of September, they're hosting a housing symposium, and they're bringing in a speaker that's a national expert on walkability. I think his name is Paul Fenton. And I was able to see him last year, and he just talks about what other communities are doing across the country as far as improving their downtowns from a walkability aspect. If anybody's interested, I can probably make sure that you get an invite to that.
Yeah, would I,
All right, I'll
Would
just
you
get it to
maybe-
you and we can disperse.
yeah, and then we can send it to the group.
Perfect. All right.
Perfect, thank you. Commissioner Bowie?
Just excited that construction on County Road 44 is finally underway, so be excited when that's finished. So that's all I have.
All right, Liz?
I don't have anything.
Okay, and all I have is I wanted to thank Flags in Honor for their car show on Saturday, raise money for Carver County veterans in need. They had to fight the weather, but besides that, it was a real nice event, and I think they did a good job, and look forward to that being an annual event in the future. That is all that I have. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Commissioner
And it?
Lacy, second Commissioner Pfeiffer, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.